Okay. Perfect. This semester, we will be discussing a number of topics under system modeling and design. One of the first things we'll be talking about is the use case diagram. What is the use case diagram, and why is the use case diagram important for us to know what it is and how we can use them? The use case diagram forms part of the unified model language. The unified model language presents us with a language that we can use to give representation of artifacts, drawings, and so on and so forth. What does this mean? Over here, I have a use case diagram. A use case diagram was a thought pattern by someone, which means that that person can have his own use case diagram. That person can have an idea of how he or she wants to utilize a use case diagram. So if I have the way I want to utilize the use case diagram here in Ghana, and someone else in America also has his own use case diagram, he can have a way in which he does it, which is different from mine. The problem is if I want to demonstrate to you how my system works using a use case diagram, it means that every single person will have his own way of representing the diagram or showing the diagram or having the use case diagram represented. That doesn't bring a uniformity in the diagrams, in the shapes, in the presentations that are being done. Therefore, the unified model language came to be. The unified model language is not a programming language. It's a pictorial language. It's a representative language. It's a language that is used to demonstrate how certain things are going to operate. So people came down and said, okay, these are the rules to how we would design things so that going forward, anytime we all see a circle, we know a circle starts from start. But anytime we see a line, we know a line is for this, and so on and so forth. So that is what the unified model language represents. And a use case language is a form of unified model language, which is used to represent representations that illustrate the interactions between a user and a system. The user here is a word which is being used to describe multiple things. It's not just being used to describe a human being. It could be a human being. It could be a system itself. So if a system is interacting with another system, you can use that to represent an actor. It could be a server. It could be an API. It could be a lot of things that interact with our system. So anything that interacts with our system, we represent it with the use case diagram. Now, how does the use case diagram work? How does it work? The use case diagram is used to capture the functionalities of a system. So it captures the functional requirements of a system, showing how different users engage with various user cases, sorry, with various use cases or specific functionalities within the system. So my use case diagram allows me, sorry, allows me allows me allows me to know, okay, this system I'm doing, this person, when it comes to my system, what can he do? He can do this, he can do that, he can do this, he can do that, he can't do this, he will do that. All of those things are the functionalities I'm talking about. So it allows me to show how the user is going to engage with the system, the functionalities, how internally they are going to engage within themselves to give me a picture of how my system is going to work. Use case diagram provide an overview of the system's behavior, making it so that the system can be understood by all the stakeholders which are there. So the use case diagram provide a high-level overview of a system's behavior, making them useful for stakeholder developers and analysts to understand how a system is intended to operate from the user's perspective and how different processes relate to one another. They are critical for defining the system scope and requirements. Most of the time when I'm building a system, I don't know how the individual who has contracted me wants the system. So I may have an idea based on what the person has said. The person may also have an idea of the system based on what I have said. So we all have an idea of the system. We all have a way in which we think the system should behave. Once I do a use case diagram, I can let you understand how the system is going to behave from the user's perspective. So that if you do not agree with it, right then you can specify a change and we can change. Remember, before we code, we must make sure that we iron out all the problems of the system so that once we start coding, the system can go as smooth as possible. And coding is also expensive. So we want to make sure we have all our models down before we go and code anything. Scope is also something which is very important. The scope of a system tells you how the system is going to operate. It tells you the boundaries in which the system is going to operate. It tells you the direction the system is going to go and the direction the system is not going to go. So the use case diagram will tell you the limitations of your system so that you will not exceed those limitations and make sure you're always within the boundaries of your limitations. You being graduate students, you realize that this is the season where you would have to do your final year project. In doing your final year project, one of the questions in which they would always ask you is what is the scope of your project? A lot of you, in order to have the topic accepted, you state a scope which is too big or you state a scope which is too small. Selecting of the scope of the system is very important. It tells you how the system is going to be built, in what environment the system will work, so that if it doesn't work within another environment outside of your scope, you are safe because you specify the environment the system would work. A system cannot work everywhere. There are laws, there are different cultures, there are different ways of perceiving the system. So your system cannot work everywhere. Wherever the system will work, you may have some tweaks you would have to do. So you specifying the scope of the system is very important. It gives you an idea of how the system is going to work, the boundaries is going to work, who is going to work there, what can the person do. All of those things are known before you go and code anything. Are there any questions?
No say.
So when do we apply a use case diagram? When do we apply it? If I wanted to apply a use case diagram, when will I apply it? Use case diagrams are useful in several situations. Here's when you should consider using them. So if I was a system analyst and I wanted to use a use case diagram, these are the particular scenarios which will allow me to use these kind of diagrams. Number one, when you need to gather and clarify user requirements. A use case diagrams help you to visualize how different users interact with the system. User requirements are very important. I think it is one of the steps in which, especially here in Ghana, we skip. We build systems without thinking of the people who would use the system. The system would be used by the people. So if the people don't like the system, if the people can't use the system, your system is going to fail. At the end of the day, the success of your system or the lack of success of your system is highly dependent on the people who are going to use the system. So you must understand it. In understanding them, it's not always on paper. Sometimes writing what they will do matters. Because if you write what they will do, you can visualize the responses you will get. You can visualize who will do what, when will they do what, how will they do what. And because the use case diagrams takes a person and what they will do in the system, their use case, it is a good diagram to use when you want to understand what a user is going to do in the system. If you're working with diverse groups, including non-technical stakeholders, these diagrams provide a clear and simple way to convey the system functionality. Your vision is as good as the people you are selling to. If the people you are selling to can't understand your vision, they will not buy into it. You must paint the picture of your system like how an artist paints a picture of a system on a painting slab. You are describing how your system is going to work. How is it going to work? And you're describing it to someone who knows nothing about your area, which means if you can't describe how your system is going to work to them, how would you be able to build it for them? They must understand your vision. And a use case diagram is very good if I want to convey such information. Now, during the design phase of the system, the use case diagram helps you to outline the interactions of the system. My system, when you start, you log in. When you log in, you click here. From here, you do this. From there, you do that. The user can do this. You are specifying the action so that at the end of the day, when you want to code, you know the modules you should code. You know the line of actions you should take. And when you define all of these things in your system, it is very good to show the boundaries of the system. And I've explained boundaries earlier in our class, whereby me knowing the limitation of my system matters. Sometimes the limitation of your system may exceed your use. Like you build the system with one thing in mind, and you realize that when the system went out, people are using it for another thing. For example, the thing in which they use to remove your ear. Did you people know that they have written on the packaging of that thing clearly when you don't buy it from the people on the street who have bought it and repackaged it, but you buy it from the container, they write it there that don't put it in your ear. But when you are going to buy, what do you call it? You assume. The thing that they are written, don't put it in your ear. You call it you assume because you want to hear your assume. But that thing was not meant for the removal of wax from your ear. It was used to help you to blot blood or remove stains from places in which are very close and you cannot remove. So that thing is not meant for your ear. Do we understand?
Yes, please.
So in use case diagrams, there are annotations. There are annotations. UML annotations provide visual languages that help designers to develop their application. So here we have the tools we use to design our diagrams. What are the tools in which we use to design our diagrams? With that, I'll open Microsoft Visio. And in Visio, I'll open a blank canvas and I will start utilizing my. So I have a canvas here. In here, I'll go for the shapes. The first shape or the first notation we will learn is the actor. So we call this the actor. Actors are external entities that interact with the system. So any external entity that interacts with our system is an actor. These include users, other systems, or hardware devices. So this actor could be a user, another system. For example, if I have to do a payment, I'll need a payment gateway. So my system will interact with the payment gateway. So the payment gateway is a system. My application is also a system. So I have a system interacting with a what? System. Or I have a hardware. Now, in a use case environment, it is the actor that initiates the use case. He will log in, he will do this, he will do this. It doesn't come from the system to the actor, it comes from the actor to the system. The next thing in which we have to talk about is the use case. We can see that the use case is over, 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 over. So that in the exam, if you go and draw a circle, you know you are wrong because it's supposed to be an oval. The use case is used to represent a scenario in play. We normally use a descriptive word, place order, track delivery, update product information. Short like that. Don't go and write this one will help the user log in and the user can log in. And when the user log in, no. Log in, log out, pay, pay order, track delivery. Straight to the point. Just two words or three words or one word that describes the action the person is going to perform. Are we clear?
Yes, please.
Mm. The next one we are going to do is the boundary. Aberanteɛ baby awɔ deɛ o data new. Hey. Aberanteɛ na awɔ he na o data ayɛ saa no. Hey. Ɛnɛ mbrem yɛda susu data o. Aberanteɛ. Aberanteɛ wei deɛ aberanteɛ wei deɛ. No. Ɛnɛ mbrem Ghana. The digital economy. Yesu data. If you have a question, put it in the chat. I think your voice is not coming through so that I'll read it and answer it. Do you have a question? Okay, I don't think there's any question. So over here, I am able to specify my boundary. My boundary will tell me the environment that my system is going to work in. My system is going to work within this environment. So all of my activities that I'll perform will exist within this boundary. That means that if I go and draw my oval over here, that I have oval and the oval is here, or it is here, or the oval touches the line like this, or the oval is somewhere here. If the oval is on the line, it is out of the boundary. It is not in the boundary. Ladies and gentlemen, do we understand it?
Yes, please.
Don't go and draw something which is weird. Let's see some relationships. So over here, I have an actor. My actor over here is a customer. So over here is called customer. Wow. Now, over here, my actor who is a customer, I'm going to say, I'm going to transfer funds. We transfers funds. So when my customer comes into my system, he or she can transfer funds. But without a line going from this person here to the funds, I have no relationship between the two. This kind of relationship between the two is called an association relationship. The customer will transfer the funds. An association relationship. The customer will transfer the funds. An association relationship. The line connects the two. Let us note this line touches this one and touches this one so that I know that it goes from here to here. Can we all see that, please?
Yes, sir.
So that if you go and draw the line and the line ends over here, because I'm such a nice person and I believe in being such a nice person, I will continue the line to go and touch somewhere over here so that I will mark you wrong. Because we are supposed to indicate the relationship. And the relationship over here is an association relationship. So in the exam, I can ask, what kind of relationships does use case have? One of the kinds of relationship is an association relationship. An example of that is a customer who is doing transfer of funds, and there is a relationship between the customer and the transfer of what? Funds. Anushishi.
Yes, please.
Another kind of relationship is an include relationship. For example, in here, let me say that the person is going to compose a post. So I'm building a social media application. And when the person gets here, he will compose a post. Now, when you compose a post, you have to add a picture. So here you add a picture. Let me copy this, paste it, so that here I know over here I'll have add picture. Or let me say add image. So it's more, sounds more better. Wow. Now, ladies and gentlemen, looking at what I have over here, do I draw the line from the user to this? I don't think so, because the line must come from this thing here to from this guy over here, this guy over here, to this guy over here. And they are an include relationship. Now, why is the line going from the use case to another use case? Why isn't there a line from the customer to the add image? Because we are saying that when you go and make a post, included in making the post, you can add your image. You see, it is at this point where you, as a software engineering student, your mind should start to grow and you should start seeing things. That if I was taking this to code, I'll say that I will do a module. I will do a module for the person to be able to go into the compose a post. And once the person is able to go into the compose a post, in there, I will do another module for them to be able to add an image. So in compose a post, there are additional functionalities like add an image. So this is how I'll indicate that there are additional functionalities. What other kind of relationship can I have? Let's say I want to book a flight. Now, if I am booking a flight, I can select a seat. Selecting a seat is an extended relationship. Why isn't it an include relationship? Because when I'm back booking for a flight, me choosing a seat in which I want to sit on is not by force. If the thing is by force, then it is include. But if the thing is not by force, then it is extend. So I can book a flight and I can say whatever seating which they give me, they should give me, Charlie. Or if you are someone like me who is afraid of height, when I book a flight, I always want to sit in the middle or by the wing if I have to sit by the window. Because I read a book that said that all the people who have survived plane crashes were sitting by the wing. So I always sit by the wing so that if I have to die, at least I have the hope of survival. So if I have to choose a seating which I want to sit on, it's optional. It's not by force. But in the other example, It was by force, which means if I'm making a post, there should be a picture. Are we clear, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
The final kind of relationship in which we have is a generalized relationship. So we have seen the association, the include, the extend, and the generalization relationship. For example, over here, I'll remove this and I'll remove that. And then in here, I will say that in here, I want to rent a vehicle. Wow, I'm going to rent a vehicle. And for me to rent a vehicle, can either rent a car, I can either go and rent a car, or I can go and rent a bike. Now, all of these relationships are children of this guy. Of this guy. That means that if I go to rent a vehicle, I'll have a module for either rent a car or a module for rent a what? Bike. That means that I can't come here direct. Before I come here, I must go through rent a vehicle. Wow. Let's have an example. Let's see if my students are serious students. They are at places in which they are supposed to be. Fatima, read the question on the screen for us.
Okay. Oh,
Let me,
where is it?
let-
Okay.
I am coming. Let me put the question there.
Okay.
1 second. One second. Where did I put this question? Okay. So here's the question. I found it. We are. Okay. Oh, let me do it well. Oh, it wonders. So Fatima, here you go. Read it for us.
Okay. So, a logistics company operates a large fleet of vehicles, including cars, trucks, and motorbikes. Each vehicle has basic attributes such as make, model, year, and vehicle type. That is car, truck, motorbike. Additionally, each vehicle type has unique attributes. 1. Cars have a number of doors. 2. Trucks have a cargo capacity. 3. Motorbikes have an engine capacity. The system should track each vehicle's mileage, allow im- allow users to input vehicle information during creation, initializing objects with relevant constructors. 3. Track the total number of vehicle in the fleet.
Interesting. From this case study here, what do they want us to do? George, George has not responded. So we'll give George -2 and continue with our class. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Oh, yeah, there. Oh, okay. So, George, what do they want us to do?
Please repeat the question again.
George, read the question on the screen.
A logistics company operates a large fleet of vehicles, including cars, trucks, and motorbikes. Each vehicle has basic attributes such as make, model, year, and vehicle type. Car, into bracket, car, truck, motorbike. Additionally, each vehicle type has unique attributes. One, cars have a number of doors. Trucks have a cargo capacity. Motorbikes have an engine capacity. The system should track each vehicle mileage, allows user to input vehicle information during creation, initialization, initializing object with relevant constructors, track the total number of vehicle in the fleet.
What do they want us to do? George,
Yes, sir.
what do they want us to do?
They want us to construct the various attributes to the cars when it comes to their model and
That is not what they
the,
want us to do, oh God. What do they want us to do in one sentence or less?
honestly, I'm very confused with this course. My network was not helping me, so maybe subsequent
Maybe I have
questions.
no.
Uh,
Now, when
I'll,
you
I'll,
the problem of what you are saying is that I'm telling you to do has nothing to do with anything you have done today. All I'm telling you is per the question, what do they want us to do? You're in level 400. You should know what do they want us to do. But don't blame it on network. What do they want us to do? Simple. This one here, you can't use network to run away anywhere. And this one, I haven't asked anything about use case or what do they want us to do in one sentence. Per the question you read, what do they want us to do? You can't run away. So answer.
Design a use case diagram for the.
That is not what they want us to. Teria, what do they want us to?
Yes. Hello, sir.
Yes.
So, per the question, it says like we should track each vehicle's mileage. So, and also allow users to input vehicle information and track the total number.
Use one sentence to tell me what they want us to do.
Okay. They want us to model a system so that
they don't want us to model. What do they want us to do?
Okay. To be able to create a vehicle.
They don't want us to. They want us to create a car. Hey, oh, no. There you are. Hey, are we Tesla? Hey.
No, sir.
Index number 49. What do they want us to do?
Yes, sir. So
what do they want us to do?
They want us to build a system to manage the logistics company.
Perfecto. The logistics company wants us to manage many types of vehicles. They want us to manage their vehicles. They want us to manage their inventory. You see, sometimes we always complain about coding and whatever. But in my experience, coding is the bottom line of everything. If you can't determine what they want you to do, you can't do anything. At the end of the day, there is something they want you to do. At the end of the day, what they want you to do is what you will be paid on. If you can't read a case study and figure out what they want you to do, every other thing becomes difficult because all they want you to do is a logistic company manages many types of vehicles and they want you to build a system to help them to manage those vehicles. That's what they want you to do. And the vehicles in which they want you to help they want you to help them manage are cars, trucks, and what? Bikes. These are the things in which they want you to help them manage. Full stop. Full stop. What do they need? Because now that I know what they want from me, I have to ask myself, what do you need? They need you to do the following stuff. They need a system that can do the following. It can store information about the vehicles. It can track each vehicle's mileage, allow creation of vehicles with proper input and constructors, and keep account of how many vehicles exist in their entire fleet. That is what they want from you. They want to know at the click of a button, we have 10 cars or 5 cars or 1 million cars. At the click of a button, they can know car 444, how many miles has it done? So that if we want to sell, we can sell. If we want to do this, we can do. They want to know. They want you to do this. You have to be able to deduce this. This is your job. This is your career. This is when you become a system analyst. This is what happens when you become a system software. This is when you become a software developer or a manager or whatever. If you can't just look at a scenario and fish out what they want you to do, and what their problem is, then you can't develop the software, because the software will solve a need. And if you don't know the need, why are you building a software? And that is the problem with the students nowadays. They are not capable of figuring out what the person needs. So this is what they need. And why do I need to know what your problem is and what you need? Because based on what your problem is and what you need, that will tell me what I have to do. That will tell me what I have to do. So how many people are going to use the system? Based on what they want and what they need, how many people are going to use the system? There are going to be two people. There's going to be the driver and the fleet manager. There's going to be the driver and the fleet manager. Now, what is the driver going to do? What is the driver going to do?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the driver is basically going to be the one to operate the vehicle.
In terms of the system.
Sir.
Okay, let me put it this way. The driver will be the one driving the car. The fleet manager will be doing his daily work.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me? The driver will be the one driving the car. Okay? Fatima. And then the fleet manager will be doing the things he does every day. We don't care. What we care about is what are they going to do in our system? Because the driver is not going to drive the car with our system. So when a driver comes to our system, what is he going to do? That is the question. The driver is going to enter the mileage, or let's use the word update mileage. Finish. So, oh, I take the car, go here, cab. Okay, go car. When he comes back, then you say, I drove from Accra to this. When I left, the mileage was 2. Now it is 5. Finish. That is what you do with our system.
But say, I have a question.
Great.
Yeah, so I want to know, like, if the driver, because from the answer I gave earlier and then the like response, it's like the driver is not necessarily going to operate like the system itself.
No, what you said was the driver will drive the system. And all I was trying
Yes.
to say was that the system is not something in which the driver is going to drive. The driver drives the car. So
Each vehicle
the
has
system has nothing to do with the driving of the car.
Okay.
When the person is done driving the car, he will come to our system and make input. So if you say the driver will drive the car, driving of the car has nothing to do with our system. What will he do with our system specifically? He will update the mileage.
Okay, so it means that the driver is also going to have access to use the system, but their only
That
job
is
is to update mileage.
perfect. That is what we are saying.
Okay. Okay,
So in
okay,
this
sure.
case, we are saying that if you are a driver and you come to our system, all you will do as Mr. Driver is update the word mileage.
Okay, okay, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I was
So I
thinking.
have a question.
Yes.
So how can the driver calculate the mileage? Is it mileage?
How can he calculate
Maybe
it?
you see, you were saying something like if the person drove from, let's say, Accra to Kumasi, he is going to say, "Oh, I drove from Accra to Kumasi." So is the system that is going to calculate the mileage, or I don't get it, please.
Of course, the system you are developing that is going to calculate the mileage. So if the guy comes in, that's why we use the word update the mileage over here. So when the guy comes in, he will choose a vehicle. If he chooses a vehicle, then he will click the mileage, then you click. Then you say that, okay, this vehicle previously was 10, now it is 25. So the person drove for this kind of money. It is the system that's going to do all of this. The system is going to establish how much mileage has been used by the vehicle. That is
Why it repeats twice?
repeats twice where?
Like the driver can record the mileage.
Okay. And he too can record the mileage.
Yes, please.
Okay. You're a student, right?
Yes, sir.
You can register, right?
Yes, please.
I can
Yeah.
register for you, right?
Yes.
So why can I register for you?
So please come again.
You're a student, right?
Yes.
You can register your courses, right?
Yes, sir.
If I'm an administrator who manages the school management system, I can register your courses for you too, right?
Yes.
Why should I be able to register your courses for you?
In case I'm not able to also register on my end.
Okay. So now keep your answers.
Mm, yes.
In case this guy doesn't do it, who will do it?
Okay, sorry.
You understand now? So
Yeah.
remember, we are looking at the system from this guy's perspective, and we are also looking at the system from this guy's perspective. What we are writing over here is what this guy can do alone. What we are writing here is what this guy can do alone. So it is not double. It is seeing it from a particular perspective. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So over here, I will go in here and draw my use case diagram. Over here, the name of my system would be fleet management. So that is my environment. Wow, I've done my environment. Wow. Now, in my environment, I will have my driver, and then I'll also have my...
Hi, sir. Hello, sir.
Yep.
Can you please zoom in a little bit? I can't really see.
Oh, okay. So I will have my is this okay? So I'll
Yes,
have my
please.
I'll have my driver. Okay, a nice gentleman over here. Wow. And then over here, I'll have my fleet manager. So fleet manager. Wow. Fleet manager. Brands here, fine, come up. Yeah. Now in here, I'll start to have my use cases. So here I have my use case. Okay, and the first one would be login, because obviously both of them are going to log into the system, so I know who is using the system, right? The second one is going to be over here. Make sure they are in line, and then oh, I have to put them. Okay, this is fine. So let me put them up here. Good. And here is going to be me updating the mileage of the fleet. I'm going to have to update my mileage over here. So update mileage. Well, let's update mileage, right? Yep. So update mileage. Okay. Now, at the top over here, I'll create another one. So I can put over here somewhere. Then I'll have add vehicle. Perfect. Then I'll have another one over here, which is update vehicle. Then I'll have another one. Let me bring these ones closer to themselves a bit. Wonderful. Then I'll have another one, which is going to be vehicle view, vehicle details. Again, simple words that describe what we are doing. Now, he can also go and search. So over here, I'm going to copy this, paste it at the top over here. We can also search for a vehicle.
So can the manager register a driver?
Manager can register a driver. Yes, so we can put that somewhere over here. So register driver. Okay. Now, over here, right, I can click on association and say this arrow here goes from here to this guy. I can have another association and say this arrow here goes from here to this guy. Another association, and this arrow here goes from here to this guy. I can have another association and say this guy here goes to this guy. Let me put this here and this here and that here. Let me bring this up a bit. Let me push this one over here. I can say this guy here goes from this guy to this guy. Perfect. We don't want the arrows to cross each other. We can say this guy here can go here and pick this guy. We can also say this guy here goes here and picks this one and comes here. We can also say over here, Mr. Driver can also register or log in so he can come here. We can also say Mr. Driver can go and update the mileage of the car. So he can go and update the mileage of the car. We can also say that in updating the mileage of the car, there should be an included relationship for you to be able to also go and one second. There should be an included relationship between this and this. Because if the driver comes to search for the mileage, you should be able to search for what? A car in which he wants to give the mileage. So let me bring this to the top a bit. Let me bring this also to the top a bit. Let me bring this up a bit so we can see our included relationship. So that if I scroll back out here, I'll have this as my diagram. Beautiful. Now, if I take my diagram, I can bring my diagram to the center here. Perfect. So this is my diagram.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my if a driver can search for a vehicle, does that mean that the fleet manager can update vehicle information? That is the make, type, model, and all that.
Right here.
Update vehicle.
You see it?
Vehicle information. Okay.
Update vehicle. So he would have just update. The driver can't do anything. But if it comes to update the mileage, you have to select the car he's doing the mileage. It makes sense that way. Now, the good thing about using Visio is that I can copy all of this. Have you seen? And then copy. And then I can go all the way to Word. So I'm in Word now. And then I can paste my thing in Word. And booyah, I can see it in Word. Can we see that? And let's say I go and see my supervisor. My supervisor says, oh, the diagram I've done, change here, do this, do this. I can double click this thing in Word, and Word will open it for me in Word, but in Visio, so that I can make the changes here in Word. And when I'm done making the changes, I can exit here, save, I can click save and exit. And if I exit here, the changes I would have done will be saved in Word. So that I don't always have to come and redo the entire diagram. I can make changes on the go. Pretty neat, huh? You guys have a question? In which I will send you. Your job is to analyze the question and draw a use case diagram for the question. When we come next week, the first 30 minutes would be given 5 minutes to each of you to explain your diagram. I will scrutinize it. Why did you do this? Why didn't you do this? Why this? Why not that? For the diagram. Is that okay? The assignment, you would submit it via email to my email. I'll make the email available in the question for the assignment. I'd like to thank you all for coming today. We are bringing our class to the end.